on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Right now, you are looking at video from yesterday's storm. The Miami Valley got slammed by a half a foot of snow. Some counties even went under a snow emergency. And this morning, Dayton Public Schools is closed.
Now, your school closings are running at the bottom of your screen. Now, here's a look from our first warning weather vehicle. Most of our major roads cleared, but as residential areas are a bit treacherous still this morning. And we're expecting more snow for a look at the next system ahead. Let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak.
Thank you. We are looking at the potential for not just a little bit of snow, but an actual winter storm. So first things first, we have gotten code red for overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. And at the present point, this looks to be more of a Wednesday morning time impact. Snow is likely. I do think there is the potential for up to 4+ inches of snow across the entire Miami Valley. Now, it does get complicated because there could be a period where it does turn to winter mix. But either way, I'd expect dangerous travel as soon as your Wednesday morning commute. So here's the next weather maker. Today and tomorrow, relatively quiet. Here we are, about 10 p.m. on Tuesday. You see the storm building in, and this is likely to start as snow again on Wednesday morning. And this is where it gets a little complicated, is when does this warmer air arrive, or does it? Let's say it doesn't, that would likely cut into the snow totals. But either way, even if we do get a period of a winter mix, it's still likely to be treacherous travel, and we're still likely to have at least a couple of inches of snow in parts of the area before that time period. This will likely wrap up Wednesday night to Thursday with a few lingering showers for Thursday. But again, we are expecting at least a hassle, if not dangerous, driving conditions on Wednesday, and that's why we've gone ahead and gone code red. Meanwhile, for this morning, not a perfect morning commute. Roadways are wet. Up until maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, we were seeing a good amount of snow in the air. That snow has, for at least part of us, started to wane a little bit. But again, you are traveling this morning. The residential roads are likely to be much more problematic.
And we want to see your weekend weather pictures. Scan the QR code on your screen right now to chime those in. You can also upload them on our Dayton 24/7 Now app. Of course, we'll be showing off some of your pictures throughout the entire morning.
During the storm, deputies responded to a report of a man's body near the roadway. Investigators say the man was walking on the south side of Hillcrest Avenue when he was hit from behind by a truck. Now, he was declared dead at the scene. This is still under investigation. If you have any information, you're urged to call Regional Dispatch at 937-225-HELP. We now know this morning the suspect in yesterday's mass shooting in California is now dead. They say 72-year-old Hugh Tran shot himself as officers closed in on the van he was driving in. Tran is accused of killing 10 people and wounding 10 more at a dance studio in Monterey Park near a Lunar New Year celebration. Sheriff Robert Luna says that 20 to 30 minutes after that attack, Tran targeted a second dance hall nearby but was stopped.
I can tell you that the suspect walked in there probably with the intent to kill more people, and two brave community members decided they were going to jump into action and disarm him. They did so, took possession of the weapon, and the suspect ran away.
Now, Luna says 7 people are still hospitalized. Authorities have not released any of the victims' names just yet. Now, officials are still investigating a motive.
4 escaped fugitives from a facility in Missouri are now in custody in Butler County. Now, this footage posted by the Ohio State Highway Patrol shows troopers pulling over the fugitive's car on State Route 4 Friday night. Now, the driver sped off, causing the short chase. The car stopped in a subdivision in Liberty Township, and troopers arrested 2 of the men. The others got away, and one was arrested just hours later in Westchester Township. Another was found after that, hiding in an SUV.
I think our O-line is better. I think our run game is better. I think our defense is better. I just think our special teams is better. We're just overall a much better team than we were last year.
Well, you just heard from a very confident Joe Burrow as Cincinnati punches their ticket to the AFC Championship game for the second straight year. Now, the Bengals, of course, dominant on Sunday, if you happen to catch the game, beating the Buffalo Bills 27-10. They're now going to head to Kansas City on Sunday to take on the Chiefs in a rematch of the AFC Championship game from a year ago. Coming up, Matt Digby will have some highlights from the game.
Sports gambling just became legal in Ohio this month, but as Dylan Cleland reports, issues are already on the rise.
He says that he and others in Columbus are dissatisfied with advertisements that are offering free risk bets as well as targeting underage gamblers.
Everyone's trying to get you to sign up with their particular company. And so they're claiming that they have all these incentives. And the reality is there's no such thing as a free bet. Some of them are appealing directly to underage people, which is strictly prohibited under Ohio law.
I asked Governor Mike DeWine whether he regrets the decision to legalize it and what the solution to fixing those initial problems could be. There have been some fines imposed to try and prohibit more of this in the future. Do you regret signing House Bill 29?
Well, it gives me pause, quite candidly. What I've seen so far has not been responsible. These companies have been overly aggressive, and I don't think they've been responsible. So, yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
And now we want to give you a live look this morning at a very dark White House, where we now know Jeff Zients is expected to be named the next chief of staff. Now, he ran President Biden's COVID-19 response effort to replace Ron Klain, who will then leave the job in the coming weeks. This transition comes at a critical time for the Biden administration. Meanwhile, President Biden is preparing to launch his re-election. While under investigation over his handling of classified documents. Now, even more classified documents have turned up at President Biden's home in Delaware. FBI agents discovered another 6 classified documents at the president's home in Wilmington. Biden's personal lawyer, Bob Bauer, says some items date all the way back to Biden's time as senator. President Biden has directed his lawyers to cooperate with the Justice Department. Now, the search happened Friday. Agents spent more than 12 hours there examining files and documents.
We now want to give you a live look over Michigan from our sister station there, where the U.S. Justice Department is launching an investigation into Abbott baby formula plant. The company says it is fully cooperating. Now, that Michigan factory was at the center of the U.S. baby formula shortage last year. It halted operations for months after the Food and Drug Administration linked a series of bacterial infections to the company's products. Inspectors found several violations at the plant.
Right now, the Miamisburg City School District will be holding a series of town hall meetings. Topics include enrollment, their kindergarten expansion, and more. Now, they're facing some major changes due to declining enrollment and new residential areas under construction in the area. Upcoming dates and locations are on your screen. The next one is tonight at Bear Elementary. All meetings will be at 6 p.m. in the school's cafeteria. The Board of Education will meet to discuss feedback on February 16th.
Our time right now is 5:08. Don't forget you can get your closings at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather is on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Debt ceiling deja vu. Already reaching the debt limit, Republicans and Democrats trying to reach a deal. Just ahead, Christine Frizzell previews a big week on Capitol Hill.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Good morning. We are looking at temperatures right now a little bit warmer than yesterday, but you look at it and it is pretty chilly out right now. 31 in Dayton, 30 in Troy. What we are seeing is a continuation of the pattern that has turned decidedly colder from this time a week ago. If we look at the winds, they're 5 to 10. Again, I would not expect these to drop into, let's say, the low teens, but we could see a teen or two up on the board this morning. Meanwhile, the radar still continues to show some showers, or what I would say is probably more flurries, with the exception of maybe Xenia, where we are getting a little bit of a heftier snow shower. This will exit stage right during the morning hours, and then from there we'll be looking at more temperatures in the 20s and 30s the rest of the day. Could get some clearing for overnight into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, by and large, a cloudy day, but as we get into the second stage of tomorrow, and really it's more for overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, that's where the next system comes in. That is why we have gotten code red for Wednesday. We are expecting the potential for a winter storm across the area. It does get a little bit complicated because there could be somewhat of a switch over to rain or just a wintry mix. That could cut into some of the totals. But in general, Wednesday is looking like the potential for a big winter storm, another one inside of 3 or 4 days of the last one. The last one, we're still dealing with the impacts on the roads this morning. We have still continued to see the snow-covered roads, especially the secondary roads across the area. If you are traveling this morning, give yourself plenty of extra times. Those neighborhood roads are somewhat of a mess. I know mine getting out this morning wasn't awful, but again, if you are traveling, give yourself some extra time. Haven't seen any major issues on 70, 75, 675 this morning. Wednesday, one of those systems that even as of last week, the models were hinting at there could be something in our region, and now it's starting to become a little bit more focused on not just the Miami Valley, but the Great Lakes as a whole. So this could be an impact not just for us, but for parts of Northeast Indiana, the Indianapolis area, over towards Cleveland. So this is a system that, even if we don't get the worst of the worst impacts, it's still going to be problematic for the region as a whole.
Yeah, definitely make sure, I guess. The thing is could these models change? You know,
Yes.
okay, so I was like, we're still a couple days out.
Yeah.
So obviously we're going code red just as a warning.
Exactly.
That this could be.
And the biggest thing that I've been mentioning this morning, and it holds true, is if we see a switch over to rain early or winter mix,
Right.
that would cut down the winter totals. Still be a mess on the road, still going to be wet, still going to be nasty, but it may not be quite as, let's say, impossible to drive in.
Yeah, I knew those 50-degree days we were having last week
Yeah,
were too
they're gone.
good to be true.
Bye-bye. All right, well, moving on this morning, a live look right now at the U.S. Capitol, where today lawmakers are headed back to Washington and bracing for a fight.
Democrats and Republicans are laying out different versions of what they want as our country reaches its debt limit. Dayton 24/7 Now's national correspondent Christine Frizzell explains.
On Capitol Hill this week, debt ceiling deja vu.
Raising the debt ceiling simply gives our country the ability to pay the bills that Congress has already racked up.
Since 1960, the debt limit has been raised 78 times, including under President Obama. Then Vice President Biden, even a member of the negotiating team. Now, as president, he stated there is no room for negotiation, and many Democrats agree.
Do you think the president should negotiate?
No, absolutely not. Almost 25% of all of the national debt accumulated over the history of the United States, 230 years, was accumulated during the 4 years of Donald Trump.
Republicans argue they simply want to make sure we're not in the same place a year or two from now.
You can't just keep increasing the debt limit and let President Biden keep spending like he's done. That's just it's not attainable for the future generations.
Most Americans work hard to balance their own family budgets. Many in Congress want that to be the federal government's goal as well. A balanced budget, a requirement for 49 of the 50 states.
Every week when I was governor, we had to sit down and agree upon adjustments, cuts, so we ended the fiscal year in a balance or a surplus. That doesn't happen.
Senator Joe Manchin now signaling he'll meet with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy as other Republicans admit the debt ceiling may be the necessary tool to change old habits, including considering plans already proposed.
That would balance the budget in 5 years and allow the federal government to raise spending by 10% every year thereafter.
As others warn of economic catastrophe, a new old debate once again taking shape. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Our time right now, 5:18. Keep your fork, there's pie. Starting the work week with a sweet treat just ahead. We celebrate apple, pecan, sugar cream, and all things pie.
I'm very excited.
I love pie.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Auto Matters is sponsored by Chevrolet of Troy.
I was just talking with my teen son about value. You can buy cheaper parts that wear out faster, or you can pay a bit more to get original factory parts that last a long time. The choice is yours. Geez, now I sound like my dad. But it's true, you pay now or you pay later. And I know it's tempting to cheap out on less expensive parts or ignore sounds or vibrations. I've been there. You just need to get to that next paycheck. But your vehicle gets you to work. You rely on it to move your family around. So treat it with that same respect. There may be options. Yeah, just weigh them accordingly and talk with one of our trusted car pros here in town.
A better kind of used at the all-new Chevrolet of Troy with grand opening specials on a big selection of certified pre-owned Chevrolets and a large variety of other brands. You'll find the vehicle you're looking for. It's all at Chevrolet of Troy's grand
Live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Good morning. We have issued a code red for Wednesday. Want to show you the system, and I'll at least ask the million-dollar question, as always, can things change? Absolutely. Just to give you an idea where the system is and what it's going to do, it's going to drop all the way down to around Mexico and then shoot its way towards the northeast. So almost make a U-shaped as it moves in. Now, meanwhile, the last system continues to bring us a little bit of snow. In fact, the Xenia area probably seeing enough snow that it may stick around for a little bit more. Outdoor today, flurries and light snow early on will give way to just some generally cloudy skies later on today. Then for tonight, 26 could be just a flake or two in the air. Wouldn't expect to see much, but cloudy skies return. Late snow is likely tomorrow, and by late, I truly do mean almost about midnight or so into Wednesday. That's why the primary impacts are Wednesday, why we have issued a code red for Wednesday. I do expect there to be some snow. It's just a question mark of, okay, does it or when does it begin to switch over to a wintry mix? And that'll play a huge role in terms of how much snow we get across the area. Still, a few to several inches is in the realm of possibility, with a few inches likely across the area. Meanwhile, for this morning, we have still continued to see things remain, I would say, slower than normal, but haven't seen any major issues on the highways. If you are traveling, especially residential areas, give yourself some extra time on the roads.
Well, today's number of the day is for all science fans. 66% of voters say that when we discuss scientific topics, it's more important to encourage an open discussion of dissenting views than it is to support the larger consensus. A recent Scott Rasmussen national survey found 10% believe that supporting consensus is more important. The poll also found that these opinions tended to break down along age lines. 17% of voters under the age of 35 favored supporting consensus, compared to just 5% of seniors. Compare that to 81% of seniors and 56% of the 35s. I have no idea what all these numbers are. Who encouraged dissenting views?
The FDA is declining to grant accelerated approval to Eli Lilly's experimental Alzheimer's drug. It's not an outright rejection, but rather the FDA wants more safety data from more patients. Now, the problem for Lilly is this delays the drug to the market by several months and gives competitor Biogen, Alzheimer's drug, more time to dominate the market. Well, despite the current economic uncertainty and record inflation, interest in health and fitness is expected to surge this year, meaning more gym memberships. Planet Fitness, a chain with a lower price point, is likely to lead in popularity, according to Axios. The pandemic resulted in about 30% of all gym studios closing. And dry January may give the mental and physical health benefits of ditching booze for a month, but bar owners are unimpressed. The health rituals left many bars struggling after a holiday season where a lot of them took a hit due to inflation. A poll by Morning Consult showed about 15% of Americans are participating in dry January this year. From the NASDAQ, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
Grandma Slice, today is National Pie Day. The day is marked to celebrate all kinds of pie, including fruit pies, berry pies, and cream pies. Now, people have been enjoying pie for a long time. Pie making goes all the way back to the Egyptian Neolithic period. To celebrate, you could bake your own or go out and buy one and enjoy it with family and friends. No matter how you slice it, be sure to use hashtag National Pie Day to post on social media. Now, obvious question here. Do you guys
What's
have
your favorite kind?
Yeah, what kind of pie do you like? It's pumpkin or bust for you?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll go apple. Will you?
I'm an apple purist. I love me some apple pie.
I know, my husband loves apple pie too.
It's so good.
Pumpkin.
Can I ask the dumb question? Where do you fall on the pie cake spectrum? Because I know there's a family out there that literally get into fights, whether it's pie or cake, that they like. I personally am pie, but some people are cake over the pie.
You know, I'm personally in that I'll eat anything that's sweet.
Why am I not shocked by this?
I mean, like, why not? That's like, duh. Sign me up. I'll take one of each. Thank you very much.
I'll do cupcake.
That's a plot twist. Look at you, girl. Oh, sassy. Well, our time right now is 5:26. Still to come.
Taking a ride with the Dayton 24/7 Now weather vehicle at 6 o'clock. We're going to have more information on this morning's commute and what you need to look for before you hit the road.
Bengals, Bills, and a big return just ahead. The amazing reaction to Damar Hamlin's appearance in Buffalo.
In today's Tech Bites, new details on the next generation of iPhone. The iPhone 15 Pro models will reportedly feature thinner, curved bezels. Online tech reports say the phones will still have flat displays, but curved edges will be similar to the latest Apple Watch series. Twitter boss Elon Musk says a higher-priced blue subscription tier that doesn't show ads is on the way, but it's unclear how expensive the ad-free subscription will be or when it might debut. Musk also says Twitter is working on ways to decrease the frequency and size of ads. And former TikTok staffers are sharing secrets about the app. They revealed to Forbes the existence of a secret heating button that can make anyone go viral. TikTok confirmed to Forbes that some employees have the ability to boost videos. Me personally, I am terrified of going viral. You're constantly being followed. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
I love my hardwood floors, but honestly, I didn't really know how to take care of them. That's until I found Swiffer Wet-Jet Wood. It's specially made for wood floors with a microfiber-like pad that's really soft. And it sprays with a light mist that dries in half the time. That dirt and grime gets absorbed and locked away. The coolest part? It prevents streaks and haze better than my old mop. Yeah, this is definitely the way to go. Wet-Jet Wood with a money-back guarantee. Also, try Sweeper Wood Cloths.
Allergy sufferers. Bedtime means it's time to take Zysol. Zysol relieves allergies while you sleep, so you wake refreshed. Plus, it works faster than Claritin, and on first dose, provides the same relief as Zyrtec in a pill nearly half the size. Be wise all. Take Zysol at night.
For people who are a little intense about hydration, Neutrogena Hydro Boost. Lightweight, fragrance-free, 48-hour hydration for that healthy skin glow. Neutrogena for people.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
The Miami Valley got slammed by snow this weekend. Here's a look at some drone footage captured over Dayton. Right now, Dayton Public Schools is closed.
Yeah, and even more school closings and delays are now coming in and running at the bottom of your screen. We still have some areas that are snowy this morning. Our photographer actually a live look from our winter weather vehicle this morning. And this is, you can see that's the giant snowflakes still coming down at this hour. We are even expecting more snow later this week. And for that forecast, let's send it right over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak.
Yeah, and it could be round 2 of a winter storm. Yesterday, depending on where you are, anywhere between 4 to 6 inches, and we could be looking at a similar case for Wednesday. Now, snow is likely on Wednesday. That's why we've gone ahead and issued a code red, because we do expect there to be the potential for up to 4 inches or even more of snow, and that does mean dangerous travel conditions. Let's say we do not get some of the higher end totals. Let's say we even get 2 to 3 inches. There's likely to be a period of extended wintry mix. It's going to be a mess on Wednesday, and we do expect at the bare minimum a much more difficult morning and afternoon commute. Here's how it plays out. Today and tomorrow relatively quiet. Wednesday, we will be looking at the potential for snow. This is probably the biggest complicated. When or if do we start to shift over towards rain? This will all clear out for Wednesday night to Thursday, but still Wednesday, a time period where we do have to have some concern. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, you saw the look from our weather vehicle. It is a morning where you want to give yourself some extra time. Right now, it's not seeing too many issues on 75, 70, or 675.
And this weekend, we had a lot of fun in the snow, right? I know we got out and enjoyed it, and so did Roxy and Thor. This is from Marcia Doncaster. They loved playing in the snow. What I love the best, they're wearing snow boots. How cute is that? They are so prepared. Lisa Newton sent in this little girl here. This is, I think, Mowgli. Okay, now I get it. Taking a break from his winter zoomies. He's loving the snow as well. And Lori Carbone sent in this photo measuring the snow, almost 5 inches. It was like 4.5 inches of snow. Not sure where she took that from. I'm assuming her backyard of some sort. But we'll be checking in with all of your pictures. And remember, don't forget, you can chime those into us even still this morning, and we'll show them right here on our air.
A 16-year-old suspect turned himself in to police over the weekend after a shooting last week left 2 people injured. Officials say Sean Duwan Strickland showed up at the Xenia Justice Center with his attorney Saturday and was taken into custody. He's now at the Greene County Juvenile Detention Center. On January 16th, police responded to reports of a shooting on 2nd Street. Witnesses say a 21-year-old man and a 17-year-old girl were shot. They were treated for their injuries. A court date for Strickland has not been scheduled.
Dayton police this morning need your help searching for Sierra Chapman. Investigators say her disappearance is suspicious. The 30-year-old was last seen December 27th, leaving her ex-boyfriend's apartment in Trotwood. Chapman's 2014 silver Cadillac was found in Middletown on January 6th. Now her purse and other personal items were still inside. If you see her or know anything about her disappearance, you're asked to call local law enforcement at 333-COPS, or you can reach out anonymously to Miami Valley Crime Stoppers at 222-STOP.
The Bengals beat the Bills Sunday in Buffalo. Bills safety Damar Hamlin was seen waving to fans at his first public appearance since he went into cardiac arrest at Paycor Stadium. That was 3 weeks ago. At Sunday's game, Hamlin and his family were shown on the screen. Fans showered him with cheers. It was Hamlin's first public appearance since January 2nd. In minutes, Matt Digby has highlights from Bills Bengals.
Abortion rights rallies ramped up around the country over the weekend, marking the 50th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court's decision to legalize abortion. However, last June, the High Court reversed that ruling, ending the constitutional right to abortion. The Women's March organized nationwide protests yesterday, including one in Washington, D.C. Counter-protesters also demonstrated. Police kept those groups apart.
Well, it's time to start getting ready to do your taxes. Today is the official start of the tax season. You may notice a smaller refund. Tax experts say some tax break enhancements expired this year. The deadline is April 18th. If you miss that, you may have to pay penalties and interest.
And opening of the Caterpillars to Butterfly's autism facility. You're welcome to join them for food, guest speakers, and a tour of the building. It serves as a daycare and will soon expand into a group home and transition home. That address is right there on your screen. They say their goal is to help anyone with autism from infancy through adulthood.
Our time right now is 5:36. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
School closing.
Yes, sorry.
It's so automatic for us to say it.
It's muscle memory.
It is
robotic.
muscle memory. Your weather, of course, on the side. What was this?
That's my robot. It was pretty bad.
It is pretty bad. Not
Anyways, carrying on.
Can you do that?
No, I'm not. No. Playing football in a winter wonderland, the Bengals trying to get back to the AFC Championship. Just ahead, Matt Digby has highlights from the divisional round.
It must have been that bad. The
Yeah.
The director just cut me off. You're watching Dayton
Yeah.
24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Good morning. We have gotten code red for Wednesday, but let's get you out the door this morning because I think today's morning commute is obviously impacted by the weather. Temperatures are in the low 30s, 30 in Troy, 31 in Sydney, 30 in Wapakoneta. We are looking at basically freezing or below, even Springfield at 28 degrees. So if you are traveling this morning, the biggest concern is going to be those roads that haven't been treated. They may begin to ice over a little bit. It did take a while for these temperatures to drop. So optimistically, as we get into, let's say, the mid-morning, and if we could eke out any type of sunshine, it may begin to melt away. Meanwhile, it does feel like it's in the 20s. So right for now, I'm saying you're going to need a hat, a glove, scarf, everything, because it is quite chilly. But we'll be looking at temperatures only rising a few degrees, so you're going to need that hat, the glove, everything, pretty much all throughout the day. Flurries in the areas of light snow are likely, and with the winds, it's going to feel like the 20s. Now, about Wednesday, we are expecting another potential winter storm on the way, and I say potential because there is at least some chance that we start to see more of a winter mix and perhaps cut down on some of those totals. But either way, I'd expect a Wednesday where travel is going to be at least a little more difficult. If not, at the worst end, it could be impossible, especially if we get some of the higher totals that are in some of the models. Meanwhile, this morning, it's been a fairly okay morning commute, but again, give yourself some plentiful extra time as you head out the door.
Hello, I'm Matt Digby. Divisional weekend in the NFL playoffs. The Cincinnati Bengals in action at Buffalo Sunday. A lot at stake in this game. For starters, the winner would be just one more win away from Super Bowl 57. Let's go to Buffalo, Orchard Park to be specific, where the weather was making its presence known throughout the day. First quarter, Bengals opening drive. Joe Burrow in the pocket trying to buy time. He connects with Tyler Boyd for a first down past the 50 as this drive would move well into Buffalo territory. Moments later, Burrow finding himself under a little pressure, but he gets out of it and finds Jamar Chase open, and number one doing the rest for the opening touchdown. The Bengals have a knack of scoring on their opening drives. That continues with a 7-0 lead. Later in the first, Burrow looking right and Hayden Hurst open for the touchdown. A dream start for Cincinnati. They lead 14-0 after one. Midway through the second, the Bills trying to answer. Josh Allen, 1-yard QB keeper off the left tackle into the end zone. Buffalo on the board within 14-7. On the Bengals' ensuing drive, Burrow over the middle. He connects with Hayden Hurst for another first down past the 50. Evan McPherson kicks a field goal. Cincinnati up 17-7 at halftime. Third quarter now, Buffalo driving. Josh Allen does well to avoid a sack and buy time. He connects with Khalil Shakir. He converts a first down for the Bills, and they get a field goal out of that drive, 17-10. But later in the third, Joe Mixon up the middle, originally ruled short, but the Bengals challenge, and the call is reversed to a touchdown. It's 24-10 Cincinnati. Fourth quarter, 27-10 now. Buffalo going for it on fourth down in the red zone. Allen looking to the corner, but the former Buckeye defensive back Eli Apple with the pass breakup and a turnover on downs. Bills do get the ball back, but with time running out, Allen again going deep, but his pass is picked off by Cam Taylor-Britt. That would be the ball game, 27-10 the final. Cincinnati going on the road and winning at Buffalo. The Bengals are headed back to the AFC Championship game. And in fact, for the fifth straight year, that AFC Championship game will be at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The Bengals won at the Chiefs 12 months ago. We'll see if they can do it again next Sunday. That'll do it for sports. I'm Matt Digby.
Our time right now is 5:43. A sweet return for two major airlines, what passengers can expect, and why the service was put on hold.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Well, as COVID-19, RSV, and the flu cases continue to rise, the FDA is now relaxing some rules to make ibuprofen more accessible to hospitals. Now, this is to help treat the surge in those respiratory infections because some patients are unable to swallow the pills. The move, however, does not pertain to the over-counter forms of the medication.
After being put on the shelf during the pandemic, tasty treats are on their way back for premium flyers of two major airlines. Delta and United say desserts are returning for customers of the carrier's highest level of service. United Airlines Sundae cart will roll again down the aisle for its Polaris business class during long international flights. Delta Airlines returns its dessert cart. It includes ice cream, cake, cheese, and fruit. The airline industry scaled back in-flight offerings during the worst of the pandemic, and since then domestic travel has surged, but there's been a lag in passenger volume for international flying.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Good morning. We have gone code red for Wednesday. This morning, it's not so much the weather that has been happening that's been the issue. It's the weather from yesterday that has caused the roads to still be quite wet. We still have some of the roads, especially side roads, that are snow covered. Meanwhile, the snow from yesterday has by and large moved out. We are still getting a couple areas of flurries and light snow this morning. Meanwhile, let's take the wide view. This is the sprawling area that will eventually become the next weather maker. This is going to arrive for Wednesday. Let's touch on that. For the rest of today, generally cloudy skies up until late. Could get some clearing. That'll drop temperatures into the upper 20s for tomorrow. Tomorrow itself, another cool day. We'll be somewhere in the low 30s. I do think tomorrow during the second half day, we could see upper 30s. So it will start to warm up, but that complicates things. As we get into Tuesday night to Wednesday, this system approaches. Likely to start as snow. The question mark is really, will we see any type of switch over to a wintry mix or even rain? If we do, that is likely to cut into some of the weather totals or snow totals. But either way, I'd still expect the front half of this system to produce periods of perhaps inches of snow. So even before we start to get the wintry mix, it's going to be snowing. And let's say we don't get a wintry mix. Let's say we get a little bit more snow. Well, that's how you get the several inches of snow possible. And again, that's why we have issued a code red for Wednesday. Meanwhile, this morning, haven't seen any major issues on the interstates. But again, things moving a little bit slower, as you'd imagine, outside. If you are going to be traveling, give yourself some extra time this morning.
Our time right now, 5:49. Paint a pretty penny for a popular dating app where one company is asking users and the charges they're considering for those searching for love.
I found mine for free. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
In this morning's GMA First Look, the Murdaugh murder case goes to trial.
How shall you be tried? By God and my country.
Alec Murdaugh accused of gunning down his wife Maggie and 22-year-old son Paul in June 2021. Jury selection set to begin.
This was a long-standing prominent family in the area. This is going to be a very long process to get to jurors that are not biased by this family's long-standing presence in this community.
Prosecutors adding Google and Snapchat representatives to their witness lists. Murdaugh's son Paul reportedly sent a Snapchat video to his friends just hours before his death. Meanwhile, the defense filing a motion to try to block blood spatter evidence from the trial, claiming authorities damaged Murdaugh's t-shirt during the forensic testing process. His legal team telling ABC News overnight, Alec looks forward to this opportunity to clear his name of these heinous charges. It's all coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Will Reeve, ABC News, New York.
Ready to feel what it's like when you can do more with less asthma? It's possible with Dupixent. Dupixent is not for sudden breathing problems. It's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma and can help improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks. Dupixent helps prevent asthma attacks and can even reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Are you in? Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Get help right away if you have rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Who knows what you can do when you do more with less asthma? Ask your asthma specialist about Dupixent.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Good morning and welcome to the Watson's Weather Porch, where it's very much a snow flurrying right now atmosphere out here. I'll tell you what, I would not be out here if it was up to me, because my ears are ringing, and every time the breeze kicks up, it does feel quite cold. Now, that being said, if you are going to be outside, I know a lot of the kids are right now either off from school or for 2-hour delay, but let's say you're the type that has to go to work, or you have to wait outside for your car to heat up. You're going to need a jacket and a hat and gloves, because if you're out here more than just 2 or 3 minutes per se, it is quite chilly. And obviously, with the snow still continuing to fall, it's not necessarily that treacherous in the sense of, oh my gosh, you can't get to wherever you can. But this is a case where you just want to give yourself some extra time across the area. In the meantime, today, the clouds will continue, and so will the cool weather, but these snow flurries should begin to wrap up as we go away from the morning hours.
Well, taking a look at DisneyWorld.com, the park celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. The parking lots at Epcot are getting a fun refresh. New character names and signs will help guests remember where they parked with some more recent Disney films. For the Earthside parking lot, there's going to be signs featuring characters like Crush, Dory, oh God, Hey Hey, I think, and Moana.
Yeah, Hey Hey's the little rooster from Moana.
Oh, hey, hey!
Yeah.
Okay. And for the Space-Side parking lot, there's going to be character signs that include Rocket, Gamora, Wally, and Eve. I knew Wally, and that was about it. In addition, there's a new car locator feature in the Disney Experience app as well to keep track of where you parked.
Fans of AFC Richmond got some good news over the weekend. Behind me, a look at the Ted Lasso Twitter page. Apple TV Plus has announced that Season 3 will take place this spring. The streaming service did not give a specific date. The company released a first look photo featuring the character Ted Lasso, played by Jason Sudeikis, and Nate Shelley, played by Nick Mohammed. In the series, Lasso plays a lovable football coach who ends up managing a Premier League soccer team in the UK. According to writer and star Brett Goldstein, Season 3 will be the award-winning show's last.
Well, how much are you willing to pay for a dating app? That is now the question Tinder is asking. The app is gauging user interest in a $500 a month commitment. At this point, Tinder's parent company, Match Group, hasn't revealed what additional benefits users would get. Hinge is also rolling out a pricier membership level for its, quote, highly motivated daters. I didn't know there weren't motivated daters.
Oh, trust me, there are.
Oh, I know. There's a tier of $50 to $60 a month. Benefits would include subscribers, likes seen faster by other users, along with better profile recommendations.
I hear this all the time with these apps. Is, oh, you know, for an extra $10, you could be like top of the line. Well, that cost $10 like
What
5
does
years
top
ago.
of the line mean on a
So,
dating app?
all right.
I'm just curious. Like, in my world, a top of the line was like, oh, you play beer pong and you won.
Okay,
Top of
actually,
the line.
that's a good way to explain it, Lisa.
High standards.
So the way it works
Things
on
have
these,
changed in 17
the way
years,
these
apparently.
works on apps is, let's say that you are on the list for beer pong. If I pay, if I pay $10 or $20 or $60, now I get to go ahead of the list. Except the list for guys could be 60 to 70
Which
people
makes
long.
no sense to me. I don't understand it. It's stupid. Just
go
to the bar.
I try. Like, you're acting like I don't do this
Well,
stuff.
you know what? You bank the money and order a mail order bride. You'll be fine.
Do you want to take this one? At least
No, I don't.
you've had
We've got a
experience
lot
with
more
this.
coming up. Experience with none of that, by the way, on ABC 22 in the morning at 6 a.m.
Taking a ride in the Dayton 24/7 hour weather vehicle. At 6, we got a lot more information on this
For a
morning's
ride
commute.
for sure this morning.
And what you need to be on the lookout as you head out the door.
And staying overnight in the living room of your favorite TV show just ahead. Simone Jameson takes a look at the new Cincinnati Airbnb, turning some heads.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
On ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Right now, you are taking a look at some video from yesterday's storm where that snow blanketed much of the Miami Valley. In fact, we got about a half a foot of snow. Some counties went under a snow emergency, and Dayton Public Schools is closed for this morning.
Now, your school closings and delays are running right now at the bottom of your screen. And here's a look from our first warning weather vehicle. You can see some of those side roads.
Streets not looking good.
Yeah, looking rough as usual. Now, it is a little treacherous out on some of our main roads as well, and we're expecting more snow coming up later this week. So let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak to see what we have in store.
Well, we have gone ahead and issued a code red for Wednesday. So you mentioned the fact that we do expect some snow. I think that's pretty much a given that we will see at least some snow. The only question mark I have is how much. Now, at the present point, I think there's at least a good chance that we start talking about some totals that are not just in the, let's say, small category, meaning 1 to 2 inches. I'm talking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches are going to be possible, but that may be dependent on where exactly the rain snow line ends up. And at the present point, there is at least a chance that we talk about not just dangerous travel conditions at points, but actually the potential for impossible travel conditions, or the type of travel conditions where we're like yesterday, where a lot of us will be at a standstill. Either way, it is going to be a busy Wednesday, and this morning, give yourself some extra time. No matter where you are traveling, the roads are either wet or they are snow covered. Right now, the major highways are okay, but again, give yourself some extra time. Have had 2 incidents right now, 35 West within about a mile each other on the city's west side.
Now, if you want to see, or we want to see, your weekend weather pictures, scan that QR code on your screen and then chime in. You can also upload them on the Dayton 24/7 Now app, and we'll be showing off some of your pictures throughout the morning.
During the storm, deputies responded to a report of a man's body near the roadway. Investigators say the man was walking on the south side of Hillcrest Avenue when he was hit from behind by a truck. He was declared dead at the scene. This is still under investigation. If you have any information, you're urged to call Regional Dispatch at 937-225-HELP.
We now know this morning the suspect in yesterday's mass shooting in California is now dead. They say 72-year-old Hugh Tran actually shot himself as officers closed in on the van he was driving. Tran is accused of killing 10 people and wounding 10 more at a dance studio in Monterey Park near a Lunar New Year celebration. Sheriff Robert Luna says 20 or 30 minutes after that attack, Tran targeted a second dance hall nearby but was stopped.
I can tell you that the suspect walked in there probably with the intent to kill more people, and 2 brave community members decided they were going to jump into action and disarm him. They did so, took possession of the weapon, and the suspect ran away.
Now, Luna says 7 people are still hospitalized this morning. Authorities have not released any of the victims' names just yet, and they are still trying to figure out a motive.
4 escaped fugitives from a facility in Missouri are now in custody in Butler County. This footage posted by the Ohio State Highway Patrol shows trooper pulling over the fugitive's car on State Route 4 Friday night. Now, the driver sped off, causing a short chase. The car stopped in a subdivision in Liberty Township, and troopers arrested 2 of the men. The others got away. 1 was arrested just hours later in Westchester Township. Another was found after that hiding in an SUV.
I think our O-line is better. I think our run game is better. I think our defense is better. I just think our special teams is better. We're just overall a much better team than we were last year.
You just heard from a very confident Joe Burrow as Cincinnati punches their ticket to the AFC Championship game for the 2nd straight year. Now, the Bengals were dominant on Sunday, beating the Buffalo Bills 27-10. They're going to head to Kansas City on Sunday to take on the Chiefs in a rematch of the AFC Championship game from a year ago. Coming up, Matt Digby is going to have some of those highlights from the game.
Sports gambling just became legal in Ohio this month, but as Dylan Cleland reports, issues are already on the rise.
He says that he and others in Columbus are dissatisfied with advertisements that are offering free risk bets as well as targeting underage gamblers.
Everyone's trying to get you to sign up with their particular company. And so they're claiming that they have all these incentives. And, the reality is there's no such thing as a free bet. Some of them are appealing directly to underage people, which is strictly prohibited under Ohio law.
I asked Governor Mike DeWine whether he regrets the decision to legalize it and what the solution to fixing those initial problems could be.
There have been some fines imposed to try and prohibit more of this in the future. Do you regret signing House Bill 29?
Well, it gives me pause, quite candidly. What I've seen so far has not been responsible. These companies have been overly aggressive, and I don't think they've been responsible. So, yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
And now we want to give you a live look from the White House this morning, where we now know Jeff Zients is expected to be named the next chief of staff. It's a very dark White House at this hour. Now, he ran President Biden's COVID-19 response effort. He'll replace Ron Klain, who will leave the job in the coming weeks. This transition comes at a critical time for the Biden administration. Meanwhile, Biden, of course, preparing to launch his re-election while under investigation over his handling of classified documents. Now, even more classified documents have turned up at President Biden's home in Delaware. FBI agents discovered another 6 classified documents at the president's home in Wilmington. Biden's personal lawyer, Bob Bauer, said some items date all the way back to Biden's time as senator. President Biden has directed his lawyers to cooperate with the Justice Department. And the search happened Friday. Agents spent 12 hours there examining files and documents.
A live look from our Michigan sister station, where the U.S. Justice Department has launched an investigation into the Abbott baby formula plant. Now, the company says it's fully cooperating. The Michigan factory was at the center of the U.S. baby formula shortage last year. It halted operations for months after the Food and Drug Administration linked a series of bacterial infections to the company's products. Inspectors found several violations at the plant.
Right now, Miami's Brick City School District is holding a series of town hall meetings, including topics from enrollment, their kindergarten expansion, and more. Now, they're facing major changes due to declining enrollment and new residential areas under construction. Upcoming dates and locations are right now on your screen. The next one is tonight at Bear Elementary. All meetings will be at 6 p.m. in the school's cafeteria. The Board of Education will meet to discuss feedback on February 16th.
Our time right now is 6:07. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And, of course, your weather's on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Staying overnight in the living room of your favorite TV show. Just ahead, Simone Jameson takes a look at the new Cincinnati Airbnb turning heads.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
I know.
This is a Dayton 24/7
Good
Now
morning, everyone. Here's what we're looking at. We've issued a code red because we do expect there to be the potential for more snow. And I'm not just talking about flurries or very, very light snow. I am talking about the type of snow like yesterday that may end up being very much so problematic. So here we go. Next weather maker. Today and tomorrow, relatively quiet other than some clouds. I do think on Wednesday, this system approaches. So here we are Tuesday night. So one of the reasons why at this point I'm calling for an all-day Wednesday code red as opposed to Tuesday night to Wednesday, because the primary impacts will be Wednesday morning commute, if not the afternoon and evening. The only question mark is just where exactly this rain snow line ends up. I'd still expect the morning to feature some snow, but we could see a quick switch over. If we don't, that's how we get into some of the higher totals, which could approach a half a foot of snow. That being said, if we do get a little bit of rain, maybe, let's say, an inch or two. Either way, it's still going to cause some problems. That's why we've gone ahead and gotten code red to give you an update and just an alert. But there is the potential for a winter storm and a shut it down type event for at least a few hours. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, not quite shut it down, but certainly take it slow. We are looking at conditions all across the board right now being a little bit slower due to wet or snow-covered roads, and we will continue to see periods of, I would say, slower travel. Give yourself some extra time at 35s on your morning commute, as we do have two issues there.
Our time right now is 6:12. In the words of Ted Lasso, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Just ahead, the return of AFC Richmond and when to expect Season 3.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Well, the Cincinnati couple is now providing a dream getaway for fans of Seinfeld and Friends. You can now stay in the show's famous apartments right here in Ohio.
Well, sort of. The couple have created a sitcom-themed Airbnb. Simone Jamison has details of how staying there will make you feel like you're living inside your favorite TV show.
Really wanted it to feel like you were literally on a set. If you look at most of these sets, the walls don't go all the way up. It's imaginary, it's not real.
It's a unique experience Cincinnati-based property developers Otto and Brenda Baum want to make available to all short-term renters. This Friends-themed Airbnb and Seinfeld-themed Airbnb in Cincinnati's Pleasant Ridge neighborhood are both exact replicas of the TV classics, chock full of memorabilia.
The door in Seinfeld, the entryway in Seinfeld, I wanted that to be like perfect because you see Kramer come through that door so many times.
And there's going to be some board games, and there's an episode with The Shining and the freezer, so we have The Shining in the freezer.
The Baum's concept for these one-bedroom, one-bathroom sitcom suites came in the height of the pandemic, out of the couple's love for the shows and watching them for hours with their kids in quarantine. They put their plan into action in October.
We thought, it might be fun to actually go see a set. And then what would be even cooler would be to actually sit in a set, to be able to live in the set.
Finding all the furnishings, pictures, and more to match came with its own unique challenges. More than 3 months of work that took them to 7 different states, exploring thrift stores, antique shops, Facebook Marketplace, and Craigslist for finds.
It's a tiny set, it's a tiny room. At the end of the day, you still have a finite amount of square footage, so that's probably been the biggest challenge.
One they say the final product makes worthwhile, and one they want TV fans everywhere to share with their loved ones for years to come.
I want them to come here and binge watch Friends and just have time with your friends.
I want people to sort of have that nostalgic, oh, I remember when, or I remember that, or I was doing that at that time. So it's like a feeling. And I think it'll be unique to every person, but in essence, just sort of taking you back to a time and place.
Now you can actually start booking the Cincinnati area Airbnbs April 1st. They start at $175 a night.
The couple says they're working on a Golden Girls and Schitt's Creek themed Airbnbs.
Golden Girls!
It should be ready later this year. Yes, Queen.
Really?
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
I'm watching these two behind the scenes, and it's just funny to hear Nathan say something. At least look at him, and the death stares just back and forth.
He called me cold.
Want to buy? Hold on, I left my small violin at home there. At least
The what? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
I'll pull out the large one for you.
No advice for you anymore.
Not like I would listen to it anyway, let's be honest. But that's a work now. It's not going to work ever. 30 right now in Troy, 31 in Dayton. We are looking at a morning where it is quite cool. We do have a little bit of wind. Luckily, the snow really came down as a thick, wet snow as opposed to light, fluffy. And because of that, we don't have to worry about blowing and drifting as much. But if you are going to be out and about, be concerned about some wet roads and perhaps a little bit of refreeze as temperatures do remain in the low 30s. Tomorrow we'll start out mid to upper 20s, should get into the upper 30s, may get a little bit of clearing later on. Here we go, though. On Wednesday, we are expecting another problematic system. This is likely to start as snow, perhaps a little bit of switch over to rain. That would cut into the snow totals as it is, even factoring in a little bit of rain. We're still looking at least a few inches of snow possible, and if we don't see any of that switch over and it's all snow, we could be looking at several inches of snow yet again. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, still dealing with the lingering effects. Again, if you are traveling this morning, give yourself some extra time. There are some spots that still at this point are snow covered. We are looking at right now a couple delays in and around the area. Let's go ahead and see what's going on in Columbus.
Right now, things are definitely not looking good in the metro area of Columbus. Now, if you're working your way in from the west, those 70 eastbound lanes moving without any problems right now. But again, there's not too many folks on the roadways. Once we work our way through the morning commute more, we're going to see some major issues, I'm sure, because we're already seeing this on our busy main roadways in Columbus. So right now, 670 westbound to 71 northbound, we have an accident there. We also have an accident up on 71. And not that this would impact you, but over on the east side, we're seeing an accident as well. So watch for slick spots. Give yourself extra time because you for sure will need it from all of that snow that we got over the weekend. I'm Katie McKee with your Triple Team Traffic.
Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, Wright State University was just awarded $720,000 to recruit and graduate students in STEM fields. Now, it's through the Choose Ohio First program, which gives competitive scholarship funding to Ohio colleges and universities to support students in science, technology, engineering, and math fields. The scholarships vary in amounts, starting at $1,500 to $5,200 a year. Now, to read more about this story and others like it, just head on over to Dayton247now.com, click on the News tab, and select Dayton Business Journal.
Fans of AFC Richmond got some good news over the weekend. Behind me, a look at Ted Lasso Twitter page. Apple TV Plus has announced that Season 3 will take place this spring. The streaming service did not give a specific date. The company released a first-look photo featuring the character Ted Lasso, played by Jason Sudeikis, and Nate Shelley, played by Nick Mohammed. In the series, Lasso plays a lovable football coach who ends up managing a Premier League soccer team in the UK. And according to the writer and star Brett Goldstein, Season 3 will be the award-winning show's last.
6:21, our time right now. Digital producer Max waiting in the wings. Your Facebook poll question coming up in just minutes.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Welcome back, everybody. Things we discussed behind the scenes. It is a morning we're waking up to a couple snowflakes. Here's our next system. This is going to be doing a big old U across the central United States. And as it does, it is going to bring us some snow on Wednesday. That's why we've gone ahead and issued that code red. That is for Wednesday. Now for today, it's 34 degrees or thereabouts, a west wind at 10 to 20. Effectively, it's going to feel like at the worst, probably upper teens, at the best, mid-20s. It's going to be quite a bit colder. And It will contend with flurries and light snow. Meanwhile, tonight, 26 degrees. It is a generally cloudy night. Tomorrow, we'll be looking at the potential for late snow. I really think the bulk of the snow actually falls in the wee hours of Wednesday morning. And then from there, we'll have to see. Wednesday during the daytime may get a line of winter mix, perhaps even a little bit of rain moving in as well. Beyond that, temperatures are going to remain cooler as a whole, with temperatures low to mid 30s all the way out. Meanwhile, this morning, if you're traveling, I haven't seen major issues on the interstates, but everything is moving a little bit slowly, as you'd imagine, due to the wet roads and the potential for a couple of snow-covered roads as well.
All right, digital producer Max is here.
All right,
here we go.
right.
What's our question today, Max?
It's National Pie Day.
Woo!
So, what is your favorite pie?
Oh, we already talked about
Before we get
this.
into this, we already did have a question. National Pie Day is on 3/14, not today. Common misconception: today is National Pie Day, P-I-E. The 14th is P-I, Pie Day.
Oh wow! Look at Max.
Max dropping some knowledge.
Putting people in their place already. My
We're going to be
goodness.
polite about it, but yes. Anyway, Angie says banana cream pie. Banana?
It's actually pretty tasty.
It is really good, yeah.
I like banana. I've never had that.
It's very good.
Now cherry.
No.
Really? No?
No.
I agree with you.
I hate
Elise.
cherry pie.
I hate cherry pie too.
It's my father-in-law's favorite. I cannot stand cherry
Though
pie.
the song is pretty good. She's my
Go, Max.
cherry pie.
Gloria, less controversial, apple pie.
I don't really even. If I do
nothing-
apple pie, it's got to have the crumble on
There's
top.
nothing more American than apple pie.
What about American cheese on apple pie?
No.
I've heard about this, and that's
We're
a
not
hard
doing it.
pass.
Wait, American cheese?
I heard it was
It's a thing.
No, it's cheddar.
Cheddar?
It's cheddar.
It's cheddar.
It's
I haven't
cheddar.
done it.
Because the sharp, salty, sharp.
I'm going to pass on that one.
Jim says it's a toss-up between strawberry rhubarb and pawpaw pie.
I don't know what pawpaw pie is.
It's a fruit that's like
And I'm
native
gonna
to this area.
Andy Gonzalez is our executive producer in the morning. This guy, Vidalia onion pie. What is wrong with you?
But he said Paula Dean's recipe.
He
so
said it's savory.
What is wrong with him?
there's plenty, but we can't. We don't have enough time. That's
We
what
don't
I was
have
saying.
enough.
We don't have enough
to have
time.
an intervention at that point.
Wrap it
So
up.
chime in on Facebook right now, Max. We appreciate it. We'll see you in the next hour. Our time right now is 6:27. Still to come. Taking a ride with a Dayton 24/7 weather vehicle in minutes. We've got more information on this morning's commute. What you need to be on the
Going
lookout
for a
for
ride.
as you hit the road.
And Bengals Bills on a big return. Just ahead, the amazing reaction to DeMar Hamlin's appearance in Buffalo.
But first, here's Genevieve Gorder with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
Hey everybody, we all spend a lot of our lives in our cars. And wouldn't you like that time that you do spend here to be as safe as possible? It's scary to think about, but there are over 6 million car accidents each year in the US, and that's a huge number. But one of the ways we can find peace of mind is through how we protect ourselves. This is the Minolta dash cam. Now, if you're ever involved in a car accident, you could have supporting evidence at your fingertips. Think about that. This camera comes with a windshield mount, and it's really easy to set up. It has a wide angle and tiltable lens, and it uses HD video, so it won't miss anything going on in front of you, including license plate numbers. It also has this large screen, so you can actually see the footage that you record. And the most important part of the camera is the G sensor, which will automatically detect a collision and make sure it gets recorded. Now, beyond accidents, think about the added security of having a camera like this in your car. Break-ins, road rage, unsafe parking lots. Think of this like a security camera for your car that you can feel good about. We are offering a special offer right now. Get one for yourself. Think about getting one for your kid going away to school, elderly parents, anyone you want to keep safe. Take advantage of this deal. Go to asadeals.com.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
The Miami Valley got slammed by snow this weekend. We want to show you some drone footage our station captured over the Miami Valley. Right now, Dayton Public Schools is closed and others are delayed this morning.
Yeah, definitely. Those closings and delays are scrolling right now at the bottom of your screen. We still have some areas that are looking a little snowy out there. In fact, this is a live look from our first warning weather vehicle at this hour, and you can really see those chunky, I like to call them chunky, which is probably not a technical term, but it's okay. I made it up.
Let's ask the professional.
Chunky snowflakes this morning, but we are expecting even more snow for later this week, and that's really the big story this morning and why we're under that code red weather alert. So let's send it right over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak to break down that storm system on its way.
Is chunky a technical term?
Yes.
I don't think so, but I like it. Like, it's one of those terms that I'm going to use it from now on. Chunky snowflakes. All right, it's better than saying we got big snowflakes and then, using quarter size. Anyway, point of the matter is we could see more chunky snowflakes on Wednesday. This because snow is likely, and because temperatures are going to be somewhere around freezing, there is the potential that these carry a lot of water with them. Now, yes, it is certainly in a realm of possibility that we start talking about totals of 4+ inches. However, I would like to point out that if we don't see a lot of snow or perhaps a switch over to rain, some of those totals will be less. Either way, whether or not it's all snow, more of a winter mix, or snow turning into a winter mix, dangerous travel is likely for Wednesday. So start preparing ahead now, because we are expecting some, if not at least a major disruption to travel at the worst end. Meanwhile, this morning, haven't seen too many issues on our cameras, but things are certainly slower this morning due to the fact that we do have all those wet roads.
Well, you guys were sending in some of those snow pictures over the weekend. Kids out enjoying it. This is from David Wolf. This is Cruz Wolf hanging with the snowman that he got to build over the weekend. It was some perfect snowman building weather, by the way. Michelle Whitaker, this is Aspen loving the snow. Oh, my goodness. Of course, an Alaskan Malamute, just loving the weather. Edna Audie sent this photo into us. This is so pretty. What a winter wonderland. This is her morning in the recliner and looking at her beautiful view. And we loved seeing the pictures over the weekend. And if you would like to chime in some of your pictures, we'd love to see them. Just do that by downloading the Dayton 24/7 Now app.
A 16-year-old suspect turning himself into police over the weekend after a shooting last week left 2 people injured. Now, officials say that Sean Duwan Strickland showed up at the Xenia Justice Center with his attorney Saturday and was taken into custody. Now he's in the Greene County Juvenile Detention Center. On January 16th, police responded to reports of a shooting on 2nd Street. Witnesses say a 21-year-old man and a 17-year-old girl were shot. They were treated for their injuries. A court date for Strickland has not been scheduled.
This morning, Dayton police need your help searching for Sierra Chapman. Investigators say her disappearance is suspicious. The 30-year-old was last seen December 27th, leaving her ex-boyfriend's apartment in Trotwood. Chapman's 2014 silver Cadillac was found in Middletown on January 6th. Her purse and other personal items were still inside. Now, if you see her or know anything about her disappearance, you're urged to call local law enforcement at 333-COPS or reach out to Miami Valley Crime Stoppers anonymously at 222-STOP.
The Bengals beat the Bills Sunday in Buffalo. Bills safety Damar Hamlin was seen waving to fans at his first public appearance since he went into cardiac arrest at Paycor Stadium. Now, that was 3 weeks ago. At Sunday's game, Hamlin and his family were shown on the screen. Fans showered him with cheers. It was Hamlin's first public appearance since January 2nd. In minutes, Matt Digby has highlights from Bills Bengals.
And abortion rights rallies ramped up around the country, marking the 50th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court's decision to legalize abortion. Now, last June, the High Court reversed that ruling, ending the constitutional right to an abortion. The Women's March organized nationwide protests yesterday, including one in Washington, D.C. Counter-protesters also demonstrated, and police worked to keep the groups apart.
Well, it's time to start getting ready to do your taxes. Today is the official start of tax season. You may notice a smaller refund this year. Tax experts say some tax breaks enhancements expire this year. The deadline's April 18th. If you miss that, you may have to pay penalties and interest.
6:37, our time right now. Don't forget your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Playing football in a winter wonderland. The Bengals trying to get back to the AFC Championship. Just ahead, Matt Digby has highlights from the divisional playoff.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Sometimes the home where the buffalo roam includes snow. This herd spotted at Grand Teton National Park. More snow is in their forecast this week. And take a look at this blanket of morning fog nestled into Roan Valley in Mountain City, Tennessee. And this serene sunrise was recently captured along Maryland's Holly Neck Peninsula, east of Baltimore.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Good morning. I was looking at the picture of the buffalo and thinking, man, I'm pretty sure they would love this weather. I know my dog personally does. Kind of hard getting her in this morning. Temperatures are in the 30s, but boy, it feels cooler than that. It does feel like the 20s pretty much across the board. Every once in a while, we may see a temperature dip briefly into the teens, but for the most part, it does feel like the 20s. Now, meanwhile, on the porch itself right now, it is snowing. It's more of a flurry, and I just actually happened to check my car as I walked outside, and what I happened to notice was there was a very thin layer of snow on it. So overnight, we probably got another dusting or maybe a little coating, just judging based on the table and everything else around here. Probably just a little coating and not much else. But I'll tell you what, if you do have to be outside for an extended period, let's say you haven't shoveled yet, or perhaps maybe you have to wait on a bus stop, whether it's a kid or your own later on today, it is chilly. You are going to need a hat and some gloves. Just being out here for the few minutes I am, boy, my ears are quite cold right now.
Hello, I'm Matt Digby. Divisional weekend in the NFL playoffs. The Cincinnati Bengals in action at Buffalo Sunday. A lot at stake in this game. For starters, the winner would be just one more win away from Super Bowl 57. Let's go to Buffalo, Orchard Park to be specific, where the weather was making its presence known throughout the day. First quarter, Bengals opening drive. Joe Burrow in the pocket trying to buy time. He connects with Tyler Boyd for a first down past the 50 as this drive would move well into Buffalo territory. Moments later, Burrow finding himself under a little pressure, but he gets out of it and finds Jamar Chase open, and number one doing the rest for the opening touchdown. The Bengals have a knack of scoring on their opening drives. That continues with a 7-0 lead. Later in the first, Burrow looking right and Hayden Hurst open for the touchdown. A dream start for Cincinnati. They lead 14-0 after one. Midway through the second, the Bills trying to answer. Josh Allen, 1-yard QB keeper off the left tackle into the end zone. Buffalo on the board within 14-7. On the Bengals' ensuing drive, Burrow over the middle. He connects with Hayden Hurst for another first down past the 50. Evan McPherson kicks a field goal. Cincinnati up 17-7 at halftime. Third quarter now, Buffalo driving. Josh Allen does well to avoid a sack and buy time. He connects with Khalil Shakir. He converts a first down for the Bills, and they get a field goal out of that drive, 17-10. But later in the third, Joe Mixon up the middle, originally ruled short, but the Bengals challenge, and the call is reversed to a touchdown. It's 24-10 Cincinnati. Fourth quarter, 27-10 now. Buffalo going forward on fourth down in the red zone. Allen looking to the corner, but the former Buckeye defensive back Eli Apple with the pass breakup and a turnover on downs. Bills do get the ball back, but with time running out, Allen again going deep, but his pass is picked off by Cam Taylor-Britt. That would be the ball game, 27-10 the final. Cincinnati going on the road and winning at Buffalo. The Bengals are headed back to the AFC Championship game. And in fact, for the fifth straight year, that AFC Championship game will be at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The Bengals won at the Chiefs 12 months ago. We'll see if they can do it again next Sunday. That'll do it for sports. I'm Matt Digby.
6:44 our time right now. The sweet return for two major airlines. What passengers can expect and why the service was put on hold.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Here's what we're looking at for today. Temperatures will get into the 30s. Now, it is worth pointing out that we're still dealing with some of the snow left over from last night. It's still flurries, areas where it's not coming down particularly that hard. But again, you saw there were flurries in the forecast. This is the period where we could see just a couple flakes in the air. I don't expect a whole lot more than maybe just a coating of snow, and that's at the absolute maximum. So, yeah, I'd say flurries and light snow for today, temperatures in the 30s, but really once you get past the morning, that should be about it. Tonight, 26 as we remain mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, it's 38 degrees, cloudy with some late snow. Now, I mentioned late snow. I'm not talking about evening. I'm actually realistically talking about more towards overnight into Wednesday. In fact, there is probably a good chance that we drop late snow for tomorrow completely out of the forecast and really hone in on Wednesday. So starting about midnight, it will be coming down as snow. It'll switch over, or has the potential to switch over, to a rain, snow, or a wintry mix. That's why we've gone code red, not necessarily for that switchover, but because even by the time we get to that switchover, we could have a few inches of snow on the ground. And if we don't see that switchover and it stays as all snow, there is a chance of several inches. Now, we are still 2-3 days out, so we are watching this rather closely this morning. But again, it is something that is certainly on the radar this morning as we gear up for a middle of the work week. Now, meanwhile, this day, well, it's starting out a little slower. We do have obviously a ton of school delays, if not downright closings. Traffic on 75 looks to be going slower than normal, but it is progressing steadily. Meanwhile, on the roads, do have a couple of issues. You want to give yourself some extra time on 35 this morning, and we have heard at least 1 or 2 incidents around the area, so keep that in mind.
National Pie Day, and I don't mean P-I, I mean P-I-E Day. The day is marked to celebrate all kinds of pies, including fruit pies, berry pies, wouldn't that be a fruit pie, and cream pies. People have been enjoying pie for a long time. Pie making goes all the way back to the Egyptian Neolithic period. To celebrate, you could bake your own, right, or go out and buy one and enjoy it with family and friends. No matter how you slice it, be sure to use hashtag National Pie Day to post on social media. It's all about the social.
After being put on the shelf during the pandemic, tasty treats are on their way back for premium flyers at 2 major airlines. Delta and United States desserts are returning for customers of the carrier's highest level of service. United Airlines Sunday Cart will roll again down the aisle for its Polaris business class during long international flights. Delta Airlines returns its dessert cart. Includes ice cream, cake, cheese, and fruit. The airline industry scaled back in-flight offerings during the worst of the pandemic. Since then, domestic travel has surged, but there's been a lag in passenger volume for international flying, and you can't convince me otherwise. All airline food is trash.
That's if it exists in the first place.
Yes. I've been on Delta flights, and I am all about the sun chips.
Yeah, but like that's a pre-bagged thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, none of the actual real food is any good. I'm talking about, like, their snacks.
That's better than the pretzels.
I don't get first class.
That's
so,
better
like,
than...
I'm getting is a small bag of sun chips. I'm not getting anything else.
Yeah, I barely get out of the luggage when I go on the airlines. I mean, some of these places you look at and they go, oh, here's a bag of, like, little cookies. And it's like, this is a 6-hour flight. Like, how am I supposed to last on cookies? Well...
You gotta bring your own snacks.
They say, buckle up, Buttercup.
They do too. You gotta bring your own snackies.
Bring your own snackies, that's right.
Goldfish, Cheez-Its.
A bucket of cheese balls.
or like the Sam's Club version.
Or in Nick's case, a quarter of brie.
A wheel of brie.
A wheel of brie. Anyways.
My stupid chair keeps sliding down.
Yeah, well, you're a hot mess today. Our time right now, 6:51. Debt ceiling deja vu, already reaching the debt limit. Republicans and Democrats trying to reach a deal at 7 on Fox 45. Christine Frizzell previews a big week on Capitol Hill.
Good morning. Coming up, Robin is in Monterey Park, California with the latest on the mass shooting that killed at least 10 people. Police say the suspected shooter is now dead. Authorities are searching for answers, and we'll speak to the hero who jumped into action, wresting a gun away from the suspect. He is speaking to GMA exclusively this morning. Then, the latest after the FBI searched President Biden's home for classified documents and what comes next in that investigation. We'll have those stories and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Right now, you're taking a look at some video, drone video, I should say, of the snow across the Miami Valley. In fact, we got slammed with about a half a foot of snow. Some counties under a snow emergency. Dayton public schools are closed for this morning as well.
And your school closings and delays are running at the bottom of your screen right now. Here's a look from our first warning weather vehicle. This morning. You see traffic moving along
a little messy
slow
out there.
Yeah, you got some snowflakes coming down this morning.
Some chunks.
Yeah, definitely want to be careful as you're heading out the door this morning. Let's check in now with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. He has what we can expect later this week when another storm moves through.
Yeah, and it's looking like this is going to be another problematic period for us as we go through. Just want to show you, this is not a most prolific system moving through, but there's still plenty of moisture left over. And with cold air trapped at the surface, or at least relatively surface in the atmosphere, that's how we're getting so many of these flakes. And it's not enough to really, let's say, add on an inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, but it is certainly enough that we start talking about flakes in the air, maybe just a little bit more slick conditions. Meanwhile, if you're concerned about the Wednesday time period, that's where we do have to be a little bit more concerned about this. This is a low that'll eventually eject into our neighborhood. With it, we're talking about the potential for few to several inches of snow. We'll time it out for you and talk more in details coming up in just a little bit. But again, this is something that you look at and go, all right, we got a little bit of issues. Speaking of this morning, a little bit of issues on the roads, just a little bit more treacherous morning commute for you during the morning hours.
Well, during the storm, deputies responded to a report of a man's body near the roadway. Investigators say that man was walking on the south side of Hillcrest Avenue when he was hit from behind by a truck. He was declared dead at the scene. This is still under investigation at this hour, but if you have any information, you're asked to call Regional Dispatch at 937-225-HELP.
4 escaped fugitives from a facility in Missouri are now in custody in Butler County. This footage posted by the Ohio State Highway Patrol showed troopers pulling over the fugitives' car on State Route 4 Friday night. Now the driver sped off, causing a short chase. The car stopped in the subdivision in Liberty Township, and troopers arrested 2 of the other men. The others got away. One was arrested just hours later in West Chester Township. Another was found after that hiding in an SUV.
I think our O-line is better. I think our run game is better. I think our defense is better. I just think our special teams is better. We're just overall a much better team than we were last year.
You just heard from a very confident Joe Burrow as Cincinnati punched their ticket to the AFC Championship game for the 2nd straight year. The Bengals were dominant on Sunday, beating the Buffalo Bills 27-10. They're now going to head on to Kansas City on Sunday to take on the Chiefs in a rematch of the AFC Championship from a year ago.
Sports gambling just became legal in Ohio this month, but as Dylan Cleland reports, issues are already on the rise.
He says that he and others in Columbus are dissatisfied with advertisements that are offering free risk bets as well as targeting underage gamblers.
Everyone's trying to get you to sign up with their particular company. And so they're claiming that they have all these incentives. And the reality is there's no such thing